Alright, so today I'm going to look again from half guard to mount. And then I got my assistant with me, Tyler. Nice one. Yeah, so just going to pop them down on the floor. So when we're in, obviously when we're fighting wherever, we land in like say a half guard. It usually happens from takedowns or whenever you land in the position. Just pull you back slightly, there. Yeah, so obviously partner's locked around one leg. So you got a couple of options. So the first option is to go like shoulder pressure. So I'm going to use my bicep connected to the side of Tyler's head. So go bicep to the head, and then we talk about using a pit hook. So we're going to use a pit hook, so my biceps connected to the side of Tyler's neck. And then what I want to do is I want to use my second arm to like push it up as far as I can to connect to like as low on the lat as I can. So with the shoulder pressure, you can just go across the face and just cause them a bit of pain, but we can get like more or less get a strangle and get a bigger reaction if we think about like rolling the shoulder. So what I do is I take my shoulder down onto the chest, and I'm going to think about bringing my shoulder across the side to the opposite shoulder. So that's the upper body details. The lower body, which is the most important part about when we're applying the shoulder pressure, is we want to use our feet on the floor. We don't want to have knees connected with a mat. So if I spin you around so they can see the other side. So as I'm here, so my feet, I don't want my knees on the floor, I want my feet on the mat. So the less connection I have with the floor, so i.e. taking my knees off the floor, the more connection I have driving through my partner. So that means again applying more pressure. What I'm also going to do is I'm also going to stick my hip towards Tyler's hip. So this will be this will make sense in a second, to basically stop him using this arm to force me and push me away. So as I'm here, I got the shoulder pressure, roll my shoulder down, and I'm going to take my hip to hip, and I'm going to think about walking my legs across to get to like the 3/4 mount. So once again, so I got the shoulder pressure locked up, using the second arm to drive up. I'm going to think about bringing my elbow back, shoulder across to the floor, and I'm going to walk across, so take my hip to hip. So the reason for this is I don't want to be really high, because then Tyler's going to use his hand to push on my hip, and he gets his knees back inside, and then I'm just back a level. So I want to try and maintain that. So I'm going to use a hip on hip, and I'm going to walk my legs across, and then I'm keeping a nice tight pinch around the leg inside of my half guard on top. So yeah, so we're going to walk across, and when you get to the 3/4 mount, and once we're in the 3/4 mount, we've got a few options from there. I'm going to cover two today, one called the foot wedge, which I think everyone knows, and the other one, the stinger. A lot less known, and Omied actually invented it. I'll link his video below if you want to see more detailed description, but it's a really nice passing option. So as we're here, we've got the shoulder pressure, using the arm to push up into using the other arm to push up so I can get a nice deep grip on the lat. I sink down, I'm walking hip to hip, keeping the legs nice and tightly pinched. I can even use my elbow to pry open, and I get to this position of the 3/4 mount. So when I'm in this position, it's depending on your partner's legs. So right now, obviously you still have the upper body controls. Right now Tyler's legs are like pointing away from me. So doing the foot wedge is like taking me off balance, and I'm going to be bringing it all the way over here. So it's not the best option. So we're going to use the stinger. So for the stinger, I'm going to think about taking my knee away from my body and straightening out my hips. So notice how my hips bent. I'm going to take it out and make it nice and straight. And then I'm going to think about whipping my foot to the floor, and his legs will hopefully come open. Your second leg then will come in to the top of the hamstring, above the knee. Don't want to be below the knee, above. I'm going to use that to pry open. I keep that locked in place, bring the second leg up, and then I'm in mount. So one more time. So from a 3/4 mount. So as I'm in this position, I'm going to take my knee away from my body, whip my foot to the floor, second leg comes in, drive up, and then we're in mount.
So here's an example of me hitting it in my recent match on Polaris. I did it twice as well, so yeah, it works.
So again, you're going to use the pit hook on the shoulder pressure. You can cup under the arm, use a dad grip, doesn't really matter. My head's on the opposite side. You can go head to the bicep, or you can go head to the shoulder, but you definitely want to be on the opposite side of your partner. Yeah, so as I'm driving in, using my shoulder press to come across. This time my partner's going to put his knee like up, try to pull my foot back across. So now is a good option to use the foot wedge. So I'm going to bring the second leg in, but what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to bring my knee all the way over. I keep my knee on the same side as my partner, and I'm going to bring that in. I'm going to pry it open. But what I want to do, if I spin you around, is what I want to do is I want to take my foot from hook in to the bottom of the hamstring. So this little detail is like key, so I'm not trying to pry against my own foot. I take it to the bottom, open the legs out, get a nice little pop, and then off you go. So another option to get from like half guard to mount is to use the underhook side. Again, you don't get like the strangle pressure like you do with the shoulder pressure, but it is obviously underhooks are way more controlling. And yeah, so a nice option for this is you can either cup the shoulder or you can look to cup your hand on the neck. Again, head on the opposite side. Now this time, my hip to hip doesn't matter, so I can build height with my legs because I got this arm flared out. Even if he can get his hand to my hip, it doesn't really matter because he doesn't have much force to apply with it. And now once I'm here, I can build height, use my hand if I wanted to knee assist, to block out, and then I can decipher his legs. Okay, so his legs are feeling open this time, circle the foot to the bottom, and then come to mount. Yeah, and so that's just a nice little quick introduction on getting from half guard to mount.